Hello, good evening, dear student. Today we are going to discuss about another chapter, that is hormone and hormone related drugs. In previous class, I have finished up already the last part of autopoid, that was the part of drugs acting on our respiratory system, where we have studied about asthma, their different reasons, their treatment, their drugs, how their drugs are going to show their action, that means mechanism of action, their pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamic action, their side effects, and different medical usage of all those anti-asthmatic drugs and drugs used to treat cough. Today we'll start a new topic, that is hormones and hormones related drugs. Before going through the drugs that is generally used as the replacement of hormone or to do the opposite action of hormone, first we have to understand about what are hormones, how they are going to show their action, from where they are going to excrete or secrete out, what are their different functions, and how they are very important for our body to do different type of biological functions. So before going to all the drugs, today we will discuss about only the details about hormone, what is hormone, from where it generates secret, what are their functions, and in next class we will study about the different drugs used as a supplement or to do opposite work of hormones. So first of all, we have to understand what is hormone. That hormone, that is came from a Greek word. The name or word was hormone. From the Greek word hormone, that hormones what generally came from. That hormone, what is that mean in Greek? The mean is to stir up. So that is the main source of the hormones what that generally comes from Greek word hormone. The means of hormone is to stir up. Now we have to understand, or we have to know what is hormone or what is the definition of hormone. Hormones are generally the chemical entities or the biological substances that is generally used in our body, or they generally do various biological functions. Those they are the substance who generally do different biological action and helps in producing different biological function in our body that is required to maintain our body, and that hormones generally secreted from one cell, then it transported to the site of action by blood circulation. So hormones are the biological substances that generally do different biological action and different biological functions, and they generally secreted from one cell and then transported to another cell where that hormone generally shows their action, or that is called action site. They transported from secreted cell to the active or action site by the our body blood circulation. So by blood circulation from secreted cell to the action site, that biological substance, that means hormones, went to that site of action and shows their different type of biological function. So that was the simple definition, or how that hormones word came from a Greek word. Now we have to understand about the different site of hormones and their different types of functions. So before that, we have to understand from where that hormones generally secreted from. That hormones generally secreted from endocrine system. Endocrine system. In that endocrine system, there are different types of organs that generally comes under endocrine system, and that endocrine organ generally secrete a biological substance that do the functional work, that are hormones. Now, what are the different part or organs that are related to the endocrine system? First one is hypothalamus, which is called the bandmaster of the different cells. That means that is hypothalamus that generally control that whole endocrine system that present in our body. With that hypothalamus, one The egg-like structure is connected to isthmus that is called as pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland are called as the master gland of endocrine glands. That are all the endocrine glands or endocrine organs that are present into our body, and all that action of all this endocrine system and their secreted hormones and the hormone secretion amount also is dependent upon that main endocrine gland, that is pituitary gland. That's why that is called as master gland. That pituitary gland generally controls the secretions of other hormones from others endocrine organs or endocrine glands. So first we have to understand what are the hormones that generally activates or secreted from pituitary. What are that? First of all, we have to understand that pituitary is consists of two parts, that is anterior part and that is posterior part. Now anterior part generally secrete different types of hormone. What are they? They are growth hormone, that is also called somatostatin hormone. Then GT is gonadotropin hormones. Then we have ACT is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Then we have MS is melanostening hormone. Then we also have TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, etc. But from the pituitary part, there are limited types of hormone that generally secreted from that posterior part, that is called ADH or antidiuretic hormone. Another one is oxytocin. That ADH or antidiuretic hormone is also known as vasopressin. Now that pituitary and all that secreted hormones generally controls other hormones of our body that generally secreted from different types of endocrine glands. What are the different type of endocrine glands that generally secreted important hormones? That are, first one is thyroid gland, second one is adrenaline gland, third one is pancreas. That pancreas is also called as mixed gland. I will tell why that is called as mixed gland. And the fourth type of gland, that is mixture of gonad, that means female reproductive system and as well as male reproductive system. All that organs comes under the endocrine. What are they? They are thyroid or gland, they are adrenaline glands, pancreas, and different reproductive glands that comes under endocrine glands, and the main gland is pituitary, and the secreted hormones are all these that generally control the secretion of different hormone from all those endocrine glands and then show their specific actions. Now I have told you that from pituitary they control different types of adrenaline or endocrine gland that also secreted different types of hormones. Now we have to understand what are those glands and what are the hormones secreted from all this endocrine system. First one is thyroid. The thyroid, we know, we have already here trachea. Here we have one gland that is same like a butterfly structure, that is called thyroid gland, and that thyroid gland generally secreted different types of hormones. They are generally named as T1, T2, T3 and T4. The mean is monoiodothyronine, diiodothyronine, triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. The most important are T3 or T4, that are tetra, that is tetra and the tri part, and the tetrathyroid, that is also called as thyroxine. So there are generally four types of hormones secreted from the thyroid gland, that is monoiodothyronine, diiodothyronine, triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. Most important is T3 and T4, and that among that two, T3 and T4, T4 is mostly important, that is called tetraiodothyronine. or in short we know that hormone as thyroxine. The second endocrine gland that generally also secreted different important hormone, that is adrenaline or adrenal gland. That adrenal gland is generally present on the kidney. That is kidney. That is adrenaline. That adrenal gland also divided in two parts. That is ad, that is cortex, and second one is medulla. So that two part of adrenal gland secreted different types of hormone. From cortex, that then generally secreted glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids hormones. So from the cortex part of adrenal gland, generally two types of hormones secreted out, that is glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. And from adrenal medulla, there are generally two types of hormone that generally secreted out from the medulla part of adrenal gland, that is adrenaline, or also called as epinephrine, and another one is noradrenaline, that is also known as norepinephrine. So from cortex part, hormones secreted are glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids, and from medulla part, generally adrenaline or epinephrine and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Then also we have pancreas, that is also act as endocrine gland as well as a exocrine gland. That's why that is called as mixed gland, because they have work or function or structure like both endocrine gland and exocrine gland. Because like endocrine glands, it secrete different types of hormone, and like exocrine system, it secrete different types of pigments. So they are called are also endocrine system, because from the pancreas different types of hormones are also secreted from. In that pancreas there is a specific part that is called as pancreas islets of Langerhans. So from the endocrine part of pancreas, there are a specific part that is called pancreas islets of Langerhans. From that islets of Langerhans, it generally acts as endocrine glands, and it secretes different important hormones which are very important for our body. Which are those? From islets of Langerhans, there are different types of cells present. One is alpha cells. From alpha cells, generally the hormone that generally secreted, that is glucagon. From beta, that generally secreted is insulin, and from delta the secreted hormone is somatostatin. So these are the hormones that generally secreted by the islets of Langerhans endocrine part of insulin, that are alpha cells secreted glucagon, beta cells secreted insulin, and delta cells secreted somatostatin. That glucagon, insulin and somatostatin, they have very important function in our body that I will discuss later. They generally balance out the blood sugar level, which is very important to maintain for our healthy lifestyle or for our healthy body. The last type of endocrine glands that are different organs are there, but they are generally collectively called as gonads. What are gonads? Gonad is generally the reproductive system organs that are present in our male or female body, that comes under gonads. In that we have male reproductive system also and female reproductive system also, and all that reproductive system part organs what are included in male and female, they are collectively called as gonad. And the hormone that generally secreted from gonads, they are collectively called as gonadotrophin hormone. gonadotropin hormone. What are the example of gonadotropin hormone? From male, example is testosterone and aldosterone, and from female, the example of gonadotropin hormone is prolactin, then estrogen and progesterone. So the male and female reproductive system, all the part organs in reproductive system collectively called as gonads, and the hormones secreted from all those systems are collectively called as gonadotropin hormone. Examples are from male, example testosterone and aldosterone. For female is progesterone, estrogen and prolactin. Now we will discuss about the different functions of hormones that generally done in our body by the hormones secreted from different endocrine glands. What are the functions? First one is fuel availability. That means all that hormones generally act as energy fuel or energy store system in our body. Example is insulin and glucagon. Because insulin and glucagon, they generally control the body sugar by increasing blood sugar by glucagon or by decreasing blood sugar by insulin. By that, they generally control or maintain the hemostasis of insulin or blood sugar in our body. So they are act as fuel energy system or fuel energy hormone. Second one is metabolic hormones. They are act as different metabolic functions of our body. Example is thyroxine, parathyroxine. The third type of work that generally done by is promoting somatic growth. Somatic growth. The example is steroid or somatotropin hormone, as they generally help in growth in somatic way. That's why they are also called as growth hormones. So three functions we have studied, that is fuel by store our energy or maintaining blood sugar level like insulin, glucagon. Then metabolic hormones like thyroid and parathyroid. And last one we have studied the work as to promote the somatic growth. Example is STIs, as they are helping in our body. They are called as growth hormones. The fourth type is regulating blood circulation and blood pressure. Example is aldosterone. Example is vasopressin or ADAs, antidiuretic hormone. Then we have sex related or reproductive related work or function that generally done by gonadotropin hormones like ACTH, follicle stimulating hormone FSH, luteinizing hormone LH. Then others are testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, etc. And others also are there. They generally control our body. What are that examples are? That is adrenaline. So other works are controlling blood circulation and blood pressure. Example is aldosterone and antidiuretic hormone. Then related to sexual and reproductive function, that are ACTH, FSH, LH, then testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, example, etc. And to regulate the stress in our body, the hormone that generally responsible for the stress in our body or depression, that is adrenaline. So these all are the different functions carried out by the different hormones secreted from the different endocrine system of our body. Today I am finishing of my classes today, and in next class we will discuss about the different mechanism of action and different specific site of action where that generally hormone travel to and shows their action and helps in regulating different biological action. In the upcoming class today I have discussed about the generally hormone introduction, hormones definition, their secretion locations from where that hormone generally secreted from, different functions of hormone, etc. Next class we will study about mechanism of action that I have already told you before the end of that class. Thank you.